Now, on to my next guest. He's had a rich and colourful life to date, a novelist foremost, but also a journalist and film critic. He's born in Liberia and moved in his early teens to Kuwait. But when the first Gulf War kicked off, he left and settled first in Damascus, Syria, and then to the Netherlands, where he read law. Fast forward to 2015, and Vamba Sherif is releasing his latest novel, Bound to Secrecy. And I'm delighted to say he's with me now. Very good morning. Welcome to This Day Live.
Thank you, James.
What was the inspiration for this book?
Actually, it was inspired by an event I experienced in Liberia. I did not participate in the civil war in Liberia, so I left. And then after years, after I published my first novel, The Land of the Fathers, about the founding of Liberia, some journalists in the Netherlands decided to go with me to Liberia. So we went home, and the journalists told me that they wanted to see the then president of Liberia, Charles Taylor. Mm-hmm. We all know who Charles Taylor was. Yep. He was a dictator, and he was convicted for crimes against humanity. And I was very afraid, to meet this man. But they were telling me, oh, you don't need to worry. You're a Western journalist, you're a writer, so your life is not in danger. But I was in Liberia, and my family were in Liberia. So in the end, I was convinced, and we met. But the meeting coincided with Charles Taylor's meeting with people from northern Liberia, people he had compelled to come together to declare their support for him in his war against the North. So it is as if you are telling someone, to fight his own child or something. And that power display that I saw, and the fear I saw in those people who actually succumbed to his power and influence, who stood up and declared their support for him, inspired this novel. I decided to write and explore the theme of power.
So, briefly, what's the story about? You've got the context there,
yes,
but
the story is about a man who leaves the capital, Liberia, Monrovia. He goes to this border town to investigate the disappearance of a very important man. And while he's there, he begins to display traits and characteristics of this man who disappeared. And he begins to take over and to exercise power over these townspeople. And of course, the people rose up against him. So it's a power play in a novel. It's a detective. It reads like a thriller. And it's a bit of a mystery as well. Indeed.
Yeah. On the surface, you've led quite a nomadic life.
Yeah.
You moving around Europe, Middle East, and what have you. Your novels seem to always be about Liberia, and if not Liberia, then Africa. Why do you think that is? If you've had all these experiences outside, why does it always come back to your home?
Yeah, because it has to do with what happened to my country. The war, it destroyed everything. I lost my mother in the war. And it's actually marked me, and my obsession with Liberia is sort of trying to actually deal with that sense of guilt. That longing. When you're in exile, you're always longing for a past that is not there sometimes.
Did you feel exiled?
Yes.
Do you still feel?
Actually, yes. That's what actually triggered my first novel about the founding of Liberia. I wanted to explain Liberia to myself.
Do you look at, when you write, do you look as though you're a Liberian that's looking around him, or do you look as though you're a foreigner looking in? Because obviously you're sort of based in the Netherlands. Yes. A lot of your books being published in Dutch.
Yes.
How do you write? First person, third person looking in?
Yes, I write in the first person, sometimes in the third person. But I look at myself as an outsider, as a Liberian living in exile, looking at Liberia. And that gives me the advantage because I'm not that emotionally attached to the country. I look at it from the perspective of an outsider. And I try to explore the universal themes of love, power, greed, and that sort of things.
Do you think that your sort of stories could be set effectively in a whole bunch of African countries, not just Liberia?
Or even Europe. I mean, because this detective, something could have happened. You could have, the setting just happened to be in Africa. It can be anywhere because power is actually abused in the West too. you know, and in the novel
so you just change the names and the locations.
Oh, yes.
And
So I try to explore power in different levels, you know, not only the power of government and his people, this important man and his people, the chief and his people, no, I mean, even between a husband and a wife. So you see this power play. So this is something that is happening everywhere in the world. So the message is actually universal.
How do you sort of keep readers on the edge of their seat? Because obviously this story is kind of crime fiction, but supernatural. There's all sorts of elements in this book. How do you do that?
Actually, I love detective novels. I've read thrillers, and I'm very interested in war literature. And what inspired me to choose this form to write this detective novel was after reading Orhan Pamuk's My Name is Red, the Turkish writer. So I said, if he could do it, then I can do it.
I was going to say, what made you become an author?
An author.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a sense of longing, a sense of trying to be like those great writers. I've been fascinated with literature from my childhood. I read those classics, the Russian, the Germans, the French. So I wanted to do something. If they could be able to persuade me to keep on reading their books, perhaps I should do the same thing too. I should write a novel, a story that will keep the reader, you know, attached and to the page. He wants to know what is going to happen.
Oh, fingers crossed you'll do that. Launching in the UK today, available in all good bookshops. Vamba Sherif, wish could spend a lot more time speaking to you. Hope to have you on the show next time you've got another
That would be
booked.
great. That would be great.
Vamba Sherif, many thanks.
Thank you.